We're going to go stock up. I'm going to go with my man Joe Burrow out in Cincinnati. And every once in a while, you get these number one picks that breathe life into an organization. We saw it with Peyton Manning. Okay, we saw it with Andrew Luck. Those rare guys that have the rare attributes that come in and just do wonders for an organization. And that's what we're seeing from my man Joe Burrow. The confidence and the swagger that he plays with that organization. You're talking about a guy who's getting beat up week in and week out behind that offensive line, but still finds himself completing the most passes of any quarterback in the National Football League. I implore the Cincinnati Bengals, please surround this guy, especially up front, because if you do this man right here is going to be special in the National Football League.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky said some similar stuff earlier in the week about please put pieces around him, spend the money it takes to put the pieces around him, and he is taking a beating, but he has been spectacular. So that's stock up in this edition of Woodstock. Who's stock down this week, D. Wood?
Man, we keep going back to the city of brotherly love with Carson Wentz. And listen, everyone keeps having this vision of Carson Wentz from 2017 and how he almost won the MVP. Well, guess what? That's not the guy that's playing right now. You know the guy that's playing right now? The guy has the most turnovers in the National Football League, the most sacks taken in the National Football League. That's the guy that we're seeing week in and week out with the Philadelphia Eagles. And listen, they're in a prime position in a horrible division with all of these suckers out there, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Football Giants, the Washington football team. All he has to do, okay, is not mess it up. I can't even use the word I want to use. Just don't mess it up, okay? We Disney, we're on national football, we're on national TV. Just don't mess it up, Carson. You playing too much hero ball. Chill out. Give the ball to your playmaker. You win the division, brother. Come on, man. Got to do better than what you're doing.
So that is this week's edition of Woodstock, which if history is any guide, it'll be the only edition of Woodstock. But so Lewis, let me come to you on that, because I feel the need to remind people all the time. They did draft a quarterback on the second round last year in Jalen Hurts, but they are also tied to Wentz financially for 2 more seasons. So where do you see the Eagles as far as their quarterback situation right now?
They're not going to Jalen Hurts. It's not. That's just not what they're going to do.
What's that?
Like, when they drafted him, like this was a long-term plan. They knew that the number 2 quarterback in 2021 was going to be a situation where they weren't going to have him under contract anymore, Nate Sudfeld. So they needed to draft a quarterback like Jalen and then take their time and develop him and bring him along because they didn't feel as though he was ready at that time. Now, I understand. People go, well, why'd you draft him in the second round? Well, that's a whole different discussion. But the point of the matter is this. Look, they are in the middle. They are in the thick of it as far as the playoff race. Who gives them the best chance to win when you really sit back and objectively evaluate it, given where Jalen Hurts is in his development? It's Carson Wentz. Of course his turnovers are ridiculous. Of course the hero ball is something we talk about every week. And every time you watch him do that kind of stuff, you just drop your head and shake your head. But they're not going to – look, I think for them right now to make a move, to put Jalen Hurts in there would set this offense even further back. When people say, well, just give the ball to your playmakers, let them do the work, that's part of the problem. Their playmakers are always hurt. Their playmakers are always on the bench. Their offensive line has been decimated. This is a team that 2 years in a row now just can't keep the same supporting cast on the field. And quite honestly, they're limping to the finish line. So what gives them the best chance? When Carson isn't turning over the football, which seems to be few and far between in terms of frequency right now, he gives them the best chance. They're in a bad situation because he needs to play better, and their team around him is just letting them down because they're not available. So they're just going to have to make do for the rest of this year and then reevaluate it in the offseason.
Having said all of that, and Nick, we talked a little on this show together, you and I, about Carson Wentz. Do you, Dominique, still believe, based upon just how bad the division is, that the Eagles wind up winning it? That Carson Wentz and the Eagles, whatever the record is that it takes, will wind up coming out of the NFC least?
I mean, they have to. I don't understand how they lose this game. They are the best team that's left. You have a Super Bowl winning coach, and I know they've lost a lot of the great coaches that they had underneath him, including Frank Reich, who's gone on to Indianapolis and is doing some decent things there. But I think that there's no way they're going to win by default because these other teams just are like actually bad football teams. I think the Eagles are playing like a bad football team, but have some talent and hopefully will get healthy in those areas. But those other guys, those other teams in the division are actually very bad football teams and would be blown out in every other division. So I think the Eagles find a way to stumble backwards into another division championship, kind of like they did last year.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.